Most of us didn't get a great education about sex. We absorbed things from our family and the media and outdated social norms and our past experiences without ever stopping to ask, is this actually true? And that's a problem because the stories that we believe about sex shape how we feel about it, how we experience it, and how we show up in our relationships. If sex has ever felt like a duty, a struggle, or a source of shame, I promise you, there's probably a belief behind that experience that needs to be questioned. So today, we're going to uncover the biggest lies that you might be believing about sex and walk through a simple framework to rewrite those beliefs that you can finally experience sex in a way that feels good to you. So my name's Hannah, also known as the Libido Fairy. I've helped over 1,500 women reclaim their sexual confidence, reconnect to their bodies, and transform the way they experience intimacy, and rewriting beliefs is essential. In so many women that I work with, it's not just a behavior change, it's a belief change and creating more empowering thoughts and frames about sex that change the way that they show up. So if you're ready to rewrite your story around sex to have more pleasure and freedom in the bedroom, let's get into it. So one of the most human things that we do is create stories and try to make sense of our experience. Stories help us interpret the world, but when it comes to sex, many of the stories that we're carrying aren't even ours. They've been passed down to us by parents, religion, society, and even from bad sexual experiences. And if you never stop to question them, these stories will dictate how you feel about sex for potentially the rest of your life. So a few examples are, sex is just something that I do to keep my partner happy. I'm not capable of having an orgasm with my partner. I take too long to orgasm. Or sex is dirty. I should want more sex. I should want less sex. If I don't have sex, my partner will leave me. Think about it. What are the sexual stories that you've absorbed? Which of those do you still believe, even on a subconscious level? Take a second. You can even pause this video and just ask yourself, what are the thoughts that come up when I think about sex? Because those thoughts aren't just thoughts. Your beliefs don't just sit in your brain. They directly shape your experience. For example, if you believe sex is something that I do to keep my partner happy, you're probably showing up to your sex life like it's an obligation instead of something you're meant to enjoy. If you believe I take too long to finish, then you might feel constant pressure to fake it, or you might rush through pleasure instead of actually allowing yourself to experience it. If you believe my partner should just know what I like, you might never communicate what you want, leading to frustration or even disconnection from your partner. See how these beliefs shape everything? And when you never question them, they become self-fulfilling prophecies. But the good news is beliefs can be changed. You learn them, so you can learn something different. And I'm about to share my 4-question framework for rewriting sexual beliefs. But before I do, if you're enjoying the video so far, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more on intimacy and relationships. Now, this is where the magic happens. We're going to take those outdated, harmful beliefs and rewrite them so that instead of holding you back, they start working for you. This framework is loosely based on a line of questioning by an amazing author, Byron Katie, but adapted for this situation and for my students. So this is my 4-question framework for rewriting sexual stories. You take the story and then you ask these questions. Number 1, is it absolutely in all circumstances completely true? Question number 2, what are the consequences when I believe that story? Question 3, what is the opposite story? And finally, what evidence would I need to support that the opposite story is true? So I'm going to take you through an example. So let's take a common belief. I have to have a certain amount of sex to be a good partner. Question 1, is it absolutely in all circumstances completely true? No, there's a universal rule that says a good partner is defined by how much sex they have. Different people and relationships have completely different needs. Question 2, what are the consequences when I believe that story? Well, I might force myself to have sex when I don't actually want it. I might feel guilty or inadequate if I don't match an imaginary ideal number. I might disconnect from my own pleasure and needs in order to meet an expectation. Number 3, what is the opposite story? I am a good partner regardless of how often I have sex. Or sex is about quality, not quantity. Or my relationship is based on more than just sex. Or being a good partner means being honest about my desires and boundaries. Finally, what evidence would I need to support the opposite story is true? Well, I could look at couples I admire who have different amounts of sex but still have strong relationships. I could remind myself of times when I felt deeply connected to my partner without sex. I could have conversations with my partner about what makes us feel secure and loved beyond sex. This is how you start shifting beliefs that are keeping you small. And when you do this consistently, everything about the way that you experience sex starts to change. So here's the final and most important step in this process. You have to take action that proves that your new belief is true. Because it's not enough just to think differently, you have to start making choices that align with your new mindset. For example, if you're shifting from, I have to have sex a certain amount of times per week to be a good partner, you could start communicating openly with your partner about your true desires and stop pressuring yourself to meet an imaginary standard. Sex is only good if we both orgasm. You could take an action where you could explore pleasure beyond just penetration and focus on intimacy in a more expansive way. If you were trying to rewrite, my partner should just know what I like, you could start having more open conversations about your desires and preferences. Real change happens when you live in alignment with your new beliefs. Okay, so let's recap. You're going to identify the sexual stories that you've absorbed. You're going to understand how they're impacting your experience. Then you're going to use the 4-question framework to rewrite those things. Then choose new beliefs that support your pleasure and your confidence. And then you're finally going to take action that aligns with your new beliefs and proves them true. Your relationship with sex doesn't have to stay the way that it's been. You have the power to rewrite your story. So drop a comment below and tell me, what is one old belief or one story that you are ready to let go of? Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.